ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानं तरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवत्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणीश्वरं गुरुवरं योगासनध्यासितं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रं यहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामच्युतव पवनचलनरोधात् आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्। Namo Ramana. In this Wednesday Satsang from Ramanacentre for Learning, we have been reading and meditating on Bhagavan's Upadesham from the book Years in the Presence of Ramana, My Master, reminiscences by Mahakrishna Swami of his stay in Ramanashramam and his journey in Ramana Path. It has been originally edited by our founder president, Sri A.R. Natarajan Ji. In this book, we go on seeing how Mahakrishna Swami talks about Bhagavan being his master in the first chapter. The second chapter, he talks about how happiness is the natural state of being and how Bhagavan would reveal it to people who would visit him. In the third chapter that we are looking today, which we have started, the topic or Mahakrishna Swami goes on to reveal how Bhagavan removes the illusion. So the art of dissipating the illusion is the title of this chapter. And after reading this week's question and answer and meditating on it by his abundant grace, we will have a 20 minutes practice session of self-enquiry. Following that, our President Sarada Akka would be talking about self-enquiry as it has been contemplated in Ramana Gita. Again, Ramana Gita is a compilation of Bhagavan's teaching by Ganapati Muni in Sanskrit. And finally, we will have the concluding prayers of Bhagavan. So, we have here a question put to Bhagavan. Why is a man unconscious of the supreme truth? It's something which is a common question for all the truth seekers, isn't it? If truth is something so naturally available, why I as an individual, as Dileep or whatever that I identify myself with, is not aware of something which is so naturally available? So it's a kind of a puzzling question. And we go from one person to another looking for the answer, for the truth, which is so commonly available. And Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning, this Ujjwal, Revati, all of these people, when they perform this ballet, they do this skit, or even in the skit when they play during the workshops, it is like searching for the sky. No, the sky is everywhere. We keep on searching for it. So, searching for the supreme truth, it seems to be very much present at all times, is somewhat like searching for the sky. So therefore, the question here is very important. Why is a man unconscious of the supreme truth? Though it is so naturally, such is the only thing which is there at all times, why is man appears to be unconscious of it? And remember, in this chapter, Mahakrishna Swami has compiled all the question and answers which are more towards how Bhagavan had the art of dissipating the illusion. So this, in a way, Mahakrishna Swami is trying to say how this truth being so naturally present, this feeling of being unconscious is the real illusion, and how Bhagavan dissipates that illusion. So if you look at it from that angle and look at it, Bhagavan's answer to it, we can start to relate how though the truth is there, why I am not looking at it and I am looking at something else. That means I am looking towards the illusion and not towards the truth. So let us look at Bhagavan's answer here. Because he does not seek it within himself and waits for others to get it for him. This is the first answer Bhagavan gives. He says that because the person who is seeking for the supreme truth does not seek it within himself, but waits for others to get it for him. This is the first approach or thing that we do, he says. Second, he goes on to say, he gives much value to the physical body because he only has the consciousness of the existence of the body. This is only an instrument for spiritual consciousness, but man sees it as an end. He uses the mind to think and the body to act. He does not perceive that the thinking mind is a great blasphemy that constantly deceives him. Blasphemy is a lie about the truth. That means what Bhagavan is saying is the thinking mind is a lie. It goes on lying something, or just keeps on imagining about God, which is completely not what God is. So he says, but we perceive the mind. We give a lot of importance to that thinking mind. We want to understand God through this thinking mind. And this thinking mind is a blasphemy, which is going on creating a lie about what God is, which is really what not God is. So that's how it is. That constantly deceives him because it makes him live unconscious of the supreme truth. So it's a very beautiful paragraph of answer of how, though the supreme truth is so naturally available to one and all, how our attention to the illusion, to the wrong things, is making us not recognize that truth which is so naturally available. So the realization of God, what we call, or the realization of the truth, is not, though it is so naturally available and we should be able to realize that it is there, we are not able to realize because of our constant attention or constant approach to know that truth through something which is always misguiding us. So first and foremost, he says us that he does not seek it within himself, and he expects for others to get it for him. How often we see this in India, that we want some holy person to bless us, somebody to do all the tapas and give it to us so that we recognize the truth and be free of all the illusion. We don't want to work for ourselves. We want somebody to give it to us. This first approach, Bhagavan says, itself is like, you can just imagine, if you hold this truth that somebody will give it to me and I don't put any effort to find out the natural truth. It is like I sit inside a room and wait for somebody, and somebody comes and tells me that the truth is everywhere, naturally present. Okay, I understand. Okay, truth is everywhere present, or sky is everywhere. Somebody comes and tells me. I said, okay, I understand sky is everywhere, but I am inside this room. I want to see the sky. And then what do? I want somebody to come and pick me up from my room, put me outside, and then show me that this is the sky. That is the kind of expectation with which I am sitting. Though the sky is everywhere, it is being told to me. So that is the approach Bhagavan is saying, that though the truth is so naturally available, we are waiting for somebody to put the effort and show it to us. We are least interested to do and find out it for ourselves. This is the first greatest hurdle or greatest thing that we have put, a barricade that we have put around ourselves, says Bhagavan, to know that truth which is very much available to us. Then he goes on to say, we give a lot of importance to the physical body and the mind. We think that these senses will reveal the truth. If truth is something there everywhere, it should be seen, it should be heard, it should be smelled, it should be tasted, it should be touched and felt. So, or if you look at yesterday, Nanda Kumarji was beautifully explaining in explaining Viveka Chudamani, how these karmendriyas or gnanendriyas deceive us, or we use that as the means, and therefore we are stuck in that kosha, the manomaya kosha or the pranamaya kosha. And in the pranamaya kosha, he was going on explaining how we are stuck to the dependent on the movement. That means we are expecting somebody, my legs, to go and see the truth, walk me to the truth in Himalayas, or walk me to the truth somewhere in some ashram, or somewhere in a place where people say that there is a lot of divine energy. I expect my hands to do it, my karmendriyas to do it. The next step is, okay, I understand that truth may not be found like that way. Then I expect my eyes, ears, and everything to see it, smell it, taste it. And therefore, I am dependent on all these body and mind, Bhagavan is going on, to reveal the truth So that is another approach with which we are all stuck, he says. First approach is we are not putting any effort. We are expecting somebody to come and do some big miracle for us and reveal the truth which is there everywhere. The example we saw, I am locked up in a room and somebody says the sky is everywhere. I'm still expecting somebody to pick me up and take me out or do something and reveal to me that the sky is, yeah, this is the sky. And that is one thing that I am expecting. But in that skit which Ujjwal and Revati play, there is this one person may come and say the sky is black, which is also true. The sky is blue. It may also be true. And the sky has no color. That is also true. Now, when these three different experiences are shared by three different people, and when somebody shows me the sky, I still may doubt whether it is really what he is showing, because somebody said it is dark, but he is showing me something which is blue. Somebody told me that it is totally colorless, and here is somebody showing me with some color. So I may have doubts. That's why Bhagavan is saying here, until we put the effort. And what is the effort Bhagavan is asking? Seek it within. Because if the truth is something which is common to everyone, let us say, if it is something common to everyone, it should be very much in common to me as well. It should be here as well. So if truth is common to all of us, then it should be common to me as well. And therefore it should be sought within, says Bhagavan here. But we really don't do that. The first mistake. The second mistake is going on is that we continue to rely on the body and the mind. And these body and the mind, in the sense, we rely on the karmendriyas, we bet on the gnanendriyas to reveal the truth. This is the second big mistake that we do. That means I see the phone, I see the book, I see you, I see other things in the world, whether subtly or grossly. I expect these indriyas to show me the truth which is everywhere. So this is the second biggest mistake that I continue to do, says Bhagavan here. So he goes on relying on the mind, says Bhagavan. And that mind is, as I said, is narrating a false story of what is truth or what is God. It says, this is how it should be. It reads a book, it understands one property of the God or one quality of the God. It hears to somebody else, it listens another quality of the God, and it is trying to put logically whatever it is experiencing to say, am I experiencing all of this at this point in time? No, in this book it said God is white. In this book God is said it has no shape or form. And I am trying to see all of this through the senses. And anytime I see through the senses, either I see a form or no form, and it deceives the other one. If I say God has form, when I experience something, God being formless, I say this doesn't hold good, where in this book it says God has form. So it goes on, and I rely on that mind to understand God, and that is continuously deceiving us, says Bhagavan here. This is why our complete, in a way, what we are saying, our approach to know the truth, which is so commonly available to everybody, through outward experience, through some seen of experience, is all a sense of deceivement, says Bhagavan here. And therefore, it makes him unconscious of the truth. That is the answer Bhagavan is giving. And therefore, Bhagavan is in self-enquiry. very clearly, whatever may be the question we see in talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, in whatever way the problem may be brought in front of Bhagavan, whether it is subtle problem, a mental imagination, or a physical thing, Bhagavan knows that there is no solution going through this path of giving some answer here. The real solution is knowing that truth which is the basis for everything here and now. So he doesn't want us to go out looking for answers outside. So he asks, so if somebody comes with a problem to him, he only puts a question, to whom is this? And therefore, the answer comes back to me. It's always for me. It's always for me. Whether it is a subtle thing that I have come up with, or a very gross thing as an issue, or as a question that I have come up with, it is always I who is actually dealing with it. So Bhagavan brings our attention going outward or looking answer outward back to the source of the issue, which is the I, the seer, who is looking for a solution or through some seen object, or through the act of seeing and through some physical seen object. But that is not where the solution is, because that is all deceivement. So Bhagavan brings the attention back to I, but he doesn't stop there, because even the I is a thought, an idea, a limitation, because of which many other limitations have got created. So therefore we need to inquire, who am I? What do I really refer to as I? Then the supreme truth, which is the thing which is there common as a substratum for all, whether it is God saying I, or I saying I, or a bird saying I, or an ant saying I, or a tree saying I, or a stone saying I, it all refers to that reality which is giving it the sense of I, which is the basis for that I, the feeling of I. So when Bhagavan says, inquire who am I, what do you refer to as I? The attention then goes away from the feeling of I to finding out, what do I really refer to as I? Here and now, the attention which was first on the outside object or the act of seeing came back to the I, and further, by inquiring who am I, the attention is going away from this limited identity of being I to that truth which is the substratum, which is the only thing which is giving reality to everything, the I also, including the I also. And therefore, the attention goes away from outside, goes back to the inner truth. So the question, who am I, really takes us and makes us become one with the truth here and now. Because of our habit of looking for solution outward, as Bhagavan has said, we again leave it. We think that, okay, it's a blankness. We think that there is no answer coming here. Something which we want our mind to catch on to, an objective experience to hold on to, since we are habituated to it, whatever experience we may have with the question, who am I, we think that may not be the solution. Again, we go with the thinking mind and we get deceived, says Bhagavan here. And again, we should ask, okay, to whom is this thought? Me. And who am I? If we keep on coming back to the truth again and again and again, we start to recognize, Bhagavan says, that it is so naturally available, unaltered at all point in time. We start to recognize its presence at all time, the truth, the presence of the truth, unaltered. No matter what experience we have had in the outside world, the degree of the truth doesn't change. It neither goes up, neither goes down. We start to recognize the beauty of that truth which is there, present And we start to recognize that truth is present, that alone is actually there. And therefore, we start to relate to that which alone is. And that is what is the beauty of self-enquiry, that it doesn't take us out again getting deceived with this mind, body, and senses and everything, but takes us back to that substratum, that truth which alone is. With Bhagavan's immense grace, with which alone we have come to this most direct path for the next 20 minutes, no matter how many thoughts come, no matter whatever is the nature of those thoughts, we should simply diligently inquire to whom is this. And we will find that it is for me. And further inquiring, who am I, or what do I refer to as I, or where from this idea of or thought of I rises within me. When I take it, inquiry deep into me, then and there we are taken to that truth which alone is. And when we keep on practicing this, Bhagavan says, the mind will gain enough strength to remain in that truth. Bhagavan's immense grace, let us practice this self-enquiry for the next 15 minutes. Bhagavate Sri Ramana. Ramana. See how Bhagavan's answer is revealing very beautifully. Sadhana is not to know the truth. The truth is available. The sadhana is to keep us away from these illusions, which make us believe that truth is something that we can experience as an objective. Therefore, the self-enquiry that Bhagavan has given is a very powerful tool which makes us free ourselves from these wrong illusions and brings us back to the ever-present truth. So, Bhagavan's immense grace, we have been going through this wonderful path of self-enquiry. Now I request our President Sarada Akka to take the session further with Ramana Gita. Namo Ramana Akka.
Namo Ramana Dileep. Namo Ramana, prostrations to Ramana, shining as a self in all beings. By the immense grace of the self manifest as Ramana, we in this session of the Satsang are meditating on the verses of Ramana Gita, a composition in 18 chapters by Ganapati Muni of answers by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi to questions of various seekers of truth. And we are now on the 18th chapter of the Ramana Gita. The 18th chapter is called Siddha Mahimanu Kirtanam, the glory of the Siddhas. And we were meditating on verse number 13, which was Nila Ravinda Sukruda Sadrisham Prasade Tulyam Tatha Mahasi Toyaja Bandhavena Brahmyam Sitau Pitaram Vatamoolavasam Samsmarayantam Achalam Tam Anusmaramaha. And that is a Dhyana Shloka also. Bhagavan has referred to that shloka as a Dhyana Shloka. In this it says, Tam Anuditam Me. This is my younger brother. Bhagavan changed those words to Tam Anusmaramaha to make it into a Dhyana Shloka. And this was the verse we were meditating on the previous time. And now we are on verse 14. Yasyadhunapi ramaniya bhava girvana loka prithana shubhavritti rupa. Yasyadhunapi ramaniya bhava girvana loka prithana shubhavritti rupa. Samshobhate shirasinapi manoja gandhaha tattadrisham grihinam apyadhipam yatinam. Samshobhate shirasinapi manoja gandhaha tattadrisham grihinam apyadipam yatinam. So here Muni is giving an allegory. He says that he is been constantly referring to Bhagavan Ramana as the incarnation of Subramanya, as Skanda. In the 11th chapter of Ramana Gita also, we saw a few verses of his on Bhagavan Ramana, where he says, Subramanyam Narakritim, you are Subramanya in human form. So using the same allegory, the same analogy, here Muni says, Yasya adhuna api, even now, adhuna means even now, Ramani Ramaniya Bhava Girvana Loka Pratana. The Devasena, the one who belongs to Indra, Girvana Loka Pratana, the daughter of the celestial Indra, the ruler of heavens, who is Ramani, Ramaniya Bhava, who is very beautiful in looks and in her mind, in her behavior, in everything. She is very beautiful. She even now resides in him, he says. Samshobhate Shubha Vritti Rupa. She is shining in him. This Devasena is shining in him, where in his mind, Shubha Vritti Rupa, in the form of auspicious thoughts. She is there, he says. In the Sahasrara, Devasena is shining within him in the form of auspicious thoughts. So he says, Manoja Gandha Tattadrisham Grihinam. Because Devasena is shining within him, Ramana is a householder. He is a Grihina. Grihinam, he says. He is a householder. Though he is thus a householder, Apyadhipam yatinam. Api adhipam yatinam. Even though he is a householder, he is the king among ascetics. Adhipam yatinam adhipam. So here Muni is saying that Subramania's consort Devasena represents auspicious thoughts, or the Shuddha Manas, the pure mind. Bhagavan says that when one gets back to the self and abides in the self steadily, then the functioning in the world happens through the pure mind, or the Aham Spurana. That it is through that that the Jivan Mukta functions in the world. In that sense, he is a householder. Bhagavan Ramana used to joke, used to say, as a lad of 16, I ran away from my house, but now see, I have become such a big samsari, referring to the ashram around him, referring to all the people who stayed at the ashram. So many people stayed in the ashram, and referring to all the animals who came seeking refuge from him. He even had a Goshala, Lakshmi's Goshala was there at the ashram. And before that, in Skandashram itself, mother came, and Kandaswami had built Skandashram like a fairly comfortable house for Bhagavan to live in. That we can see even now. In front of the cave, there are 2 rooms and there is a kitchen. So mother came and she started a regular kitchen for the devotees of Bhagavan. So he said, see what a big family I have. Such a big householder Bhagavan. Arunachala has made me. Bhagavan used to joke. So in what sense is he a householder? Because he is responsible. He has accepted the responsibility for this entire Parivara, the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam or the Shiva Parivara, however we call it. In the Annapurna Ashtakam, Adi Shankara says, Mata cha Parvati Devi Pita Devo Maheshwaraha Bandhava Shiva Bhaktascha Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam. The entire 3 universes are our Swadesha, they are our own motherland. Why? Because our mother is Parvati Devi. Mata cha Parvati Devi. Pita Devo Maheshwaraha. And the father is Shiva himself, Maheshwara himself. And all the devotees are our relatives, he says. So he is the Yati Adi Shankara saying that I have all these bandhavas, I have my mother, I have my father, and I have my whole motherland, Swadesha. And here, Ganapati Muni says of Bhagavan that the pure thoughts which shine in his head are Devasena, to whom he is wedded. It is a mystical experience and a mystical relationship, one may say, of the pure mind with the self. In Ashtakam, Bhagavan refers to this pure mind as Adishaya Shakti. It is a miraculous power. It is a magical power. It's a wondrous power. This is Adishaya Shakti. So this Adishaya Shakti, this wonderful power of the mind, Muni calls Devasena. Because it is with that pure mind that the Jnani functions in the world. Devotees have questioned Bhagavan. They have asked Bhagavan, do you have thoughts? He says, mostly I do not have thoughts. Then what about when you're talking to us, when you're writing? At that time, yes, I have thoughts. So it is that the mind, which is absolutely pure, rises and functions automatically and fulfills whatever needs to be fulfilled. Bhagavan calls it automatic divine activity. He also says, if we abide in the self, then whatever has to happen through us also will happen in this manner. It will always happen automatically, spontaneously. There will be this automatic divine activity. So Bhagavan also gives the example of the sun. He says the sun remains as the light unto himself, but all the things, activities around him happen because the sun remains as a light unto himself. So many things happen in the world. Day and night happens, the seasons happen, and the water cycle happens, rain comes to the earth, photosynthesis happens, and so many other things happen because of sunlight. But does the sun feel, I have to be active in this manner? No. So we do not have to have any sense of doership. Nonetheless, as long as there is manifestation, the body itself is a house. It is a griha. Or sometimes we say it is a temple, it is a devalaya. So when this body is a griha, obviously there has to be an energy which is running this house. That energy is the Shuddha Manas. And because Bhagavan says, Sado na janma, the self does not manifest in any manner. Then how do we explain manifestation? We say that if we are bound, when there is identity, the manifestation is through the ego or the aham vritti. But when there is abidance, steady abidance in the self, the aham vritti, as a bondage, as an attachment to identity, disappears, it is cut off, and what remains is the aham spurti, the aham. And it is there and it functions without any sense of doership, just as the sun remains and the actions happen. And another instance, example which Bhagavan has given us in Ramana Gita itself is that of the moon in daylight. The moon exists during the daytime also. Sometimes we can see it also. And we may say, oh, there is the moon. But in the daytime, the presence of the moon, even if it is a full moon, is actually redundant. There is no need for that light. It is functioning directly from sunlight itself. So that is how the manifestation is explained in a mystical manner. And for us, in our sadhana, we can understand that right now we are trying to get back to the state of the pure mind, which means a mind which is the rest of the I am the body idea. So our sadhana, our self-inquiry, is in order to cut off the I am the body idea. After which, Bhagavan is reassuring us, and in a way, Muni is reassuring us through this praise of Bhagavan that everything that has to happen in this world will automatically be carried on through that pure mind, the Devasena, the Adishaya Shakti, or what he calls here Shubha Vritti, the pure thoughts. They will continue to allow the actions to be fulfilled in the manner in which they need to be, in the most appropriate manner. So ours is only, says Bhagavan, your job is only to abide in the self. The rest is automatically taken care of by that supreme grace. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Moratnaka, thank you. Apara Satchit Sukhavarita She Yasyor Nima From Bhuvanam Samastam Guhahitam Tam Ramanam Gabhiram Chinta Vihinam Urudi Chintaya Chinta Vihinam Urudi Chintaya